show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to look at the McFarlane Toys Fortnite A.I.M and Ragnarok action figures. These are both two skins that I actually have in the game. This is the newest assortment of Fortnite figures. McFarlane's starting to crank them out a little faster now, and it's pretty cool. I must say I've been really hoping they made A.I.M since they first announced this McFarlane line, and they are. Ragnarok, he's okay, but I think A.I.M is way cooler, at least in my personal book. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. You can see here, Fortnite, 22 moving parts. They both say that, and in my opinion, McFarlane could boast more than 22 moving parts on some of these guys. He comes with a pickaxe, 2 guns, his back bling, and a stand back there. And this guy comes with his pickaxe, back bling, a gun, as well as stand back there. On the front of the package here, we've got a little barcode thing, and I've really never known what to do with this. If anybody knows, please post in the comments. A.I.M here. Find it interesting that it's A.I.M. I'm not sure what it stands for. First thing that goes in my head is artificial intelligence, but who knows. Ages 12 plus. Epic Games. On the top of the package, Fortnite A.I.M. You can see the guy there. McFarlane Toys with the Spawn logo. One side here, I've got the guy just sort of running. Other side, pretty much the same pose. The bottom, there is a barcode as well as a bunch of credits. Pretty much the same stuff going on with this guy here. Nothing really different, except for the back side. Now this one here, you can see the 2 figures from this assortment. You can see 8 previous figures as well as one of the gliders. Now these are not all the figures they've released, so I found it kind of interesting they don't have a complete checklist. And they have the same 8 figures on the back, but displayed differently, which I also found slightly interesting. So, with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, well now we got the figures out of the package. Here they are with their accessories laid out. They have the standard McFarlane Fortnite formula of gun, pickaxe, back bling, and stand. So A.I.M here and Ragnarok, 2 really, really cool figures, if I may say so. Pretty unique looking. A.I.M comes with his pickaxe, which is called the Axe. His back bling called A.I.M, which is short for elimination. It shows how many kills he has. And he also has dual pistols. I thought they were hand cannons at first. Dual pistols makes more sense because he comes with 2 of them. They look pretty much identical to the hand cannon. I checked the listing at GameStop.com just to be certain, and it said dual pistols, so at least I know. And then we've got Ragnarok. He comes with a double barrel shotgun. He comes with the permafrost pickaxe, and his back bling is the frozen shroud, a really cool cape looking thing. But before we look at the accessories any further, let's take a look at the actual figures. So here's A.I.M, nice looking robot. I like the way the metal looks. I like his face. I really like the skin in the game. I've always hoped they'd make a figure of it. His stomach is sort of hollow here. Really, really, really liking the detail. Shoulder pads and kind of move up and down a little bit. It says 30 here. Really like the way this guy looks. Once again, his feet, you can kind of see through them as well. Really nice look to this figure. And then the Ragnarok here, he's a lot heavier, I notice. His head is pretty small. It's not just like a mask. It's overall on top of there, the skull thing. He's got his beard. At least I believe that's what it's supposed to be. Got 2 huge shoulder pads. Articulation feels great. The arms look a little bit different. Really, really like the detail on these figures so far. McFarlane's doing a great job, and they're starting to really crank them out here. This guy's looking pretty nice. Now let's look at these guys' accessories. We'll check them out at the same time because it will be a little bit quicker. So first of all, I've got the stand, 2 pegs in the middle, says Fortnite. I'm really not much a stand guy, so these will be discarded into a box of stands, never to be seen again. Okay, so let's look at their pickaxes. Like I said before, A.I.M's pickaxe is called the Axe. That's sort of capital A period, X period, E period, like it stands for something. And it looks pretty cool. Little sort of sash hanging off it. It's got this X on the one side. Detailing's pretty nice. Red handle down at the bottom. And then we've got Ragnarok's pickaxe, which is called the Permafrost. Both these pickaxes actually belong or are intended for the skin, the figure they came with. In the past, some of the pickaxes seem almost random as far as what comes with some of the figures. And then here they are holding their pickaxes. Really like the sort of effect of ice coming out the back and coming out the top of this thing. Looking pretty cool. And then whether they are pickaxing each other at the beginning of the game in a no gunfight, or if they're trying to chop into the wall to get brick and get inside at the same time. The pickaxes have many uses as they break through the wall here and are a crucial part of the game. And it looks like A.I.M found a chest behind the wall, and Ragnarok found a shotgun and a medkit. And then here their pickaxes compared to all the other Fortnite McFarlane figure pickaxes. We've got quite a variety and quite a selection to choose from at this point. And then here are these pickaxes next to all the McFarlane and Jazwares 6-inch pickaxes. These are definitely interchangeable with either line, so even more variety to choose from. And then here are these figures holding some other McFarlane pickaxes and some other McFarlane Fortnite figures holding their pickaxes, showing that they definitely are interchangeable. And then here are the McFarlane figures holding some Jazwares pickaxes and some Jazwares 6-inch figures holding some McFarlane pickaxes, showing that they truly are interchangeable between all the figures. In the game, you can customize your skin, your back bling, your pickaxe, your glider. Really cool that you can execute this with the figures as well. Next, let's check out their back blings. A.I.M's back bling, it's called limb, capital E, period L, period, etc., like it stands for something. You can see here, displays how many kills he has. I actually have this back bling, and I enjoy using it. This guy's 11 kills, must be a pretty good game. See here, it's got the wire going to the top there, sort of a little knob here. Then, of course, the peg that goes into the figure. And then we've got Ragnarok's back bling. This is the frozen shroud, pretty much like a cape. Looks pretty cool. I have this one in the game too. Use it with some of the other heroes like Carbide or Omega. Kind of like a cape on those guys. And here they both are wearing their back blings from the front, and honestly you can't even really see them or tell. And then here they are wearing them from the back side, looking pretty nice if I may say so. And then here's Omega wearing Ragnarok's back bling or cape. I always thought that Omega here was the closest thing that looked kind of like Batman, and here he is donning a cape. You know what, it doesn't really look like it's meant for him with the top part there, but still looks pretty cool on him. I've definitely done this in the game before. And then here are the two newest back blings compared with all the different McFarlane back blings they've released so far. A lot of different options, a lot of interchangeability. And then here are all the 7-inch scale McFarlane back blings next to the 6-inch scale Jazwares back blings. And even though they do fit in size-wise with each other pretty nicely, and they would fit in the figures together, the peg is different thickness on the Jazwares and McFarlane, and they are not interchangeable. That is one thing that definitely disappoints me between the two lines. The guns and the pickaxes are interchangeable, but the back blings are not. And then here are these two figures wearing some other McFarlane back blings, as well as some other McFarlane Fortnite figures wearing their back blings. And I must say, on this Ragnarok guy here, most of the back blings actually do not fit with him. They can barely reach into there. It's mostly because of the fact that his sculpted hair does not move and makes it a lot farther to get into the peg hole. And most of their pegs are not long enough. This one here sort of fits under the hair, so it works. But if you were to take this one, for example, it can barely reach the peg hole when putting it in there just because his hair sticks so far out. So he's not compatible with quite a bit of the other back blings. Next, let's look at their weapons. A.I.M here came with dual pistols, and then Ragnarok came with a double barrel shotgun. Both of these sets of weapons are currently vaulted in the game and you cannot use them. Pretty cool nonetheless. You can see his pistol here, black handle, nice trigger, Pretty good sized front. It looks pretty nice and can definitely be used in generic action figure fights, not just Fortnite stuff. And the double barrel shotgun here. Looks like maybe it has a gun skin on it. The double barrel, pretty cool. Definitely like the design of this thing. Double barrel is pretty strong in the game, but boy, if you don't get them in the 2 shots, it's pretty much over. And the dual pistols are a decent, sort of mediocre, medium weapon. And then here they are holding their weapons. A.I.M holding the dual pistols. As you can see here, A.I.M actually has one trigger finger, which is utilized very nicely here. But the other hand, without a trigger finger, also uses it. Absolutely no problem there. Gun's looking pretty nice. You can see Ragnarok here. Bulkier guy with a bulkier gun. Double barrel shotgun ready to go. Like I said, if you don't get him in the first 2 shots, it takes forever to reload, and you're in big trouble. And then here they are holding a different pose with their guns. You can see A.I.M here, turned to the side, aiming his pistol, looking pretty cool. And then Ragnarok here, supporting his double barrel with his other hand. And Ragnarok, just like A.I.M, has one trigger finger, really intended to use his gun in that hand. And then here are the 2 dual pistols from McFarlane A.I.M next to 2 hand cannons from Jazwares wildcard figure. Now in the game, these guns look very similar. With the figures, they look very similar as well. Only real difference being the trigger. I almost wonder if they were labeled properly, but these definitely said dual pistols and these definitely said hand cannon right here in the figure descriptions. And then here are these 2 new guns next to all of the different Fortnite McFarlane guns that they've released so far. And then here are all the Fortnite guns they've released in total. All these on the top part here are from McFarlane, and the bottom ones here are from Jazwares. Definitely interchangeable between the 2 lines and all the different figures. And then as you can see here, here are these 2 figures holding some other McFarlane Fortnite guns, as well as some other McFarlane Fortnite figures holding their guns. And then here they are holding some Jazwares weapons, as well as some Jazwares figures holding their weapons, showing that they are truly interchangeable between the 2 lines. Next, I would like to check them out with some various accessories, substitutions, and customs to enhance my Fortnite collection. Let's start out with this Mcfarlane Glider. This is an officially licensed Fortnite toy from the same company to make these guys. You can see how tall it is next to them. Looking pretty cool. Glider in midair with the launch pad below it. And then here they are, both of them jumping off a launch pad, getting ready to get out of a tight situation. And then yes, they can both hold onto the gliders and look just fine gliding on them. One minor issue is Ragnarok's cape kind of gets in the way, so either got to move it to the side or take it off for this to work. And then here they are in a shopping cart, 2 different duos fighting each other with shotguns, trying to get some deal damage while riding a vehicle challenge done. And then here's A.I.M opening a chest while his partner covers him. Here they are with a couple of balloons, getting ready to travel across the map at a faster pace. Here they are, healing with a campfire out in the open. Probably going to get sniped. Here they are, healing up with a big pot and some bandages. Now that we've taken a very in-depth look at their accessories, next let's check out the height of these figures. The McFarlane Fortnite figures are traditionally 7 inches tall. So these guys here, so A.I.M from his foot to his head is pretty much an even 7 inches. And the Ragnarok from the hood, his foot to the top of his horns is sitting at about 7.5 inches. Next, let's check out their articulation, and it's pretty nice. Let's start with A.I.M here. Of course, he's got his head. It can go around, no problem. It can tilt from side to side. Can look down quite a bit and up quite a bit as well. Very impressive there. His shoulders, now they have this shoulder pad that can move a little bit, but definitely hinders articulation. His shoulders are only going to be able to go up about that far, even though if you took these off, they could go considerably all the way up there. They're very articulated, but I'm going to definitely explain the articulation with this piece on, so you know exactly what you're going to get. If you move his bicep cut from side to side, it could very easily push this off. I've been finding that very annoying. This right one does that, the left one really doesn't come off very easily. So he's got a bicep cut as well as really nice shoulder joints that don't work properly because of this. Double jointed elbows. You can see he's kind of got like a piston or hydraulic sort of piece back there. Pretty cool. I like this sort of black and white stripe on there as well. His no sort of wrist, anything going on his forearm here. So his wrist can go around. They're also hinged as well. He doesn't have a traditional ab crunch. He's got sort of a ball inside of here, just pretty nice. And then the bottom, he's got a ball, but it doesn't seem like it moves very much. You can see the bottom part barely moving at all, but he can do quite a bit here. You can see with his head down, his ab crunch down, with his legs straight, pretty nice, and up with his legs straight, like so. His legs themselves then go out a complete 90 degrees, absolutely no problem. Then go forward really quite a bit, almost 90 degrees. Then go back pretty decent amount. If you do push them outward, then go back even further. A lot of articulation here. The joints, kind of like a butterfly joint on the inside. Double joint knees. They don't go back all the way. This sort of bulky part in the back here on his calf prevents that from happening. No swivel of any kind here. His feet, they do go around, up and down, and they do tilt as well. So pretty nice altogether on this guy. A little bit annoying about the shoulder pads, preventing you from utilizing everything. Ragnarok here. His head, now it's done uniquely. His beard is not attached to it, nor is his hair. Those are completely stable. His head only really moves about that far. Can only look up and down that much, really not at all. You can kind of see, I guess you really can't, but there's a ball joint, but it's only inside of this skull sort of piece. Shoulders, butterfly joint again, two different kinds of joints here. The inside part as well as the outside part. A lot of articulation. These shoulder pads here do not block really anything and still go up. He probably could go higher if they weren't there, but it doesn't block nearly as much as A.I.M does. They're not on the shoulder, they're a little bit lower, and they do kind of move on their own, which is pretty cool. So shoulder goes around quite a bit. Like it a lot. These guys here are articulated in themselves, so they can kind of push them out of your way. He's got double jointed elbows. Could definitely go all the way back. You can see him scratching the back of his head, covering up his mouth, etc. Then his wrist here, of course, it's hinged and swiveled. Then he's got an ab crunch under here. A ball joint sort of up here and down here both. Goes around no problem, up and down a pretty decent amount. And then from side to side as well, so he can move around, dance, do his emojis, etc., etc. If you're looking with his legs completely straight, he can look down about that far, not as good as his A.I.M, and up, pretty decent amount up actually. So then his hips here go out not quite 90 degrees. This here is all soft, you can kind of see what's going on inside of there. Then go forward, pretty much a full 90. And back, pretty decent amount as well. Once again, double joint knees, pretty bulky boot here, but it can go back pretty far. His foot, of course, it can go around, up and down, and it can tilt a little bit. And this guy does have toe articulation. I noticed they both boosted 22 points of articulation, but boy, they definitely don't have the same articulation scheme. Next, let's compare them with some other action figures, starting with all the different Fortnite figures that I have. And then here they are next to each of the McFarlane Fortnite figures that they've made so far. Each one, each variety, looking pretty cool, and they've only scratched the surface on the skins that they could make. And then here they are next to the entire Fortnite 6-inch Jazwares collection. These guys are considerably shorter than the McFarlane figures, but can be fudged in from certain angles, and if you're not very picky. And then here they are next to my entire Fortnite 6 and 7-inch collection. As you can see here, I bought a ton of multiples. I got multiples of Wildcard for the Royal Flush Gang in my Batman world. I got multiples of Rabbit Raider for Mad Hatter Thugs in my Batman world. And I got multiples of Skull Trooper for Scarecrow Thugs in my Batman world. And then recently in Fortnite they released a Stranger Things tie-in, a limited edition mode, as well as some new skins. Here they are fighting each other just like in the game. The funny thing about this is McFarlane Toys makes both action figure lines. And as you can see here, here is a huge giant battle royale with absolutely all of my Fortnite figures, all aiming, shooting, teaming up, third partying, gliding, fighting, killing each other. Love this, guys. Love this display. Who's gonna get the dub? And then next, in case you're planning to mix these guys with other action figure lines, let's check them out with some other action figure lines from various companies to see how they fit in both scale and style wise. Here they are next to some of their McFarlane Toys brothers. These are other action figures from McFarlane Toys. They scale up pretty nicely with the Fortnite figures. These are from 4 different McFarlane lines. And then here they are next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys figures. And then here they are next to several different NECA action figure lines. And then here they are next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. Here they are next to some Mezco 1/12 soft goods cloth figures. Here they are next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And then here they are next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And then here they are next to some Mafex figures. Here they are next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. So all in all, I must say, I like these figures. They both surpassed my expectations. McFarlane Fortnite figures are always pretty nice, but they seem to be improving their quality control and trying new things with articulation, which is pretty cool. I personally like A.I.M as a skin better than Ragnarok, and that definitely influences how much I like them better. If I were to rate these figures, I'd give Ragnarok probably a 7.5 out of 10 and A.I.M an 8 out of 10. I do think Ragnarok is probably better overall as far as figure execution goes. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate it. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.